Hello and welcome to another episode of Cosy Catch-Ups. I'm afraid production values are low. It is very dimly lit. I'll try and tweak it in the editing, but I just have to film as and when I can because at home at the moment it's very tricky to create work. Si is obviously monopolising the office still because he is still working, which is great in many ways, but he has a job that involves him being on the phone pretty much for 12 hours a day. And we live in a small flat, so you can hear it in every room. So I apologise if you hear it on this. It's highly likely you will. But this room at least is about a metre further away than the living room is, so we might stand a better chance at least. So yeah, I just thought I'd have a catch up really, because we're a few weeks into lockdown now and I haven't done one of these for a little while and things might have changed. I might be totally at the end of my tether, but spoiler alert, I'm really not. I think that's the main thing I wanted to talk about today actually, was just to see if any of you guys feel like I do. And I feel like I'm the most, which might sound weird considering the time we're in at the moment, but I am the most relaxed and stress-free I have been in probably a decade. Obviously I'm concerned about what's going on in the world. I'm worried about family health. I'm worried about, you know, the impacts of all this. Of course I am, but in terms of daily life and how I feel within myself as I go about daily life at home at the flat, I find myself feeling more at ease. And I think the main emotion that I'm realising I have less of is guilt. And it's made me realise how much I carry around with me in normal times and how much that dictates how I feel and how stressed I am, and probably that impacts my health as well, physical health. I think just not having anything on the social calendar that I have to either go to and feel stressed about going to because either my anxiety is playing up, or I know I'm not really well enough to go, or I'm worried about how it will make me feel if I do go because I'll be exhausted for days afterwards. Not having to, one, make the decision, make the call whether I put myself through it or not, and then having to deal with the guilt of that decision, or the reaction from people who perhaps don't take it well that I haven't gone to a birthday party or whatever it is. So not having that whole scenario has just taken a weight off. And the same with work events. Well, some of them are fun, and once I'm there, a lot of the time I do have a good time and it's nice to see people, but sometimes the run up to going to work events, the thought of doing it brings me down, as does the commute into London. I don't think I'll ever enjoy commuting into London. So not because there aren't any events, again, I feel like I've been let off the hook a little bit. And yeah, I feel bad about saying that because I see like a lot of my friends and a lot of people in the industry are desperate to get back to busy life and to going out and going to bars, going to pubs, going to gigs, all this sort of stuff, going to events. And I'm actually like, oh no, I'm not ready to go back, and I'm not sure I'm ever going to be ready to go back, and I'm actually hoping things are different moving forward. I think the only guilt I have been feeling throughout this is the guilt of, or just that feeling, is it all right to feel like this? And I think it is, because I don't think there's a right or wrong way to deal with what's going on. And I also, yeah, you don't know how you're naturally going to react to it, and you can't help how you feel, and that's just how I feel. But I'd be interested to hear if any of you are feeling like this too. I think the thing that's making me feel better about this realisation that I don't want to go back to the way things are is that I don't think things will be back to the way things were. I know some things will snap back despite good intentions, but I think a lot of things will be different, and people will hopefully change the way they look at things, think about things, do things. I think more businesses, for instance, will realise that a lot of people can work from home. I know Sai's finding that he's probably more productive working from home and a lot less stressed. Maybe it's to do with the fact you can wear comfy clothes and you're in comfortable surroundings that you're familiar with, and you can go and use your loo when you need to. You can go and get your snacks when you want to. You can stroke your cat in between stressful calls to calm you down. And I think he's just finding as well there's less interruptions and things like that from colleagues, which probably slow things down. I know so many businesses that, you know, they could get the work done in 4 hours, but because of pointless meetings and, you know, elongated to's and fro's with colleagues, things take a lot longer. So I think a lot of businesses will change how they work, maybe. I can't remember whether I explained that we had Bluebell in the last one. I presume we'd got her at that point. She's settled in really well. We had her neutered just before lockdown, thank goodness, because she went through heat and she was very distressed with it. She had a bit of a complication after the operation, which was a bit stressful because we were in lockdown, but I still had to take her to the vet because they were worried that, you know, something had prolapsed or herniated or something like that through the stitches, but all worked out in the end. But it was so weird going to the veterinary, because they had done all they could to safeguard the area. We were talking through a screen. I couldn't go in the consultation room. Sai came with me one time and he had to stand outside because only one person could go in at a time. So it was like being in like sci-fi film or like E.T., you know, that scene where they're all wearing all the gear. She's a beautiful cat and the cutest cat I've ever met. Sounds like I go on cat dating sites. But yeah, she's adorable and so cute. You know, when something's so cute, you like clench your teeth. She's that cute, but she is so demanding. She's such a diva. And my schedule does revolve around her now. So like in the morning it's playtime, and then I can sometimes get a bath in and do a few emails, but then she'll tell me, oh, it's nap time, mummy, and I need your lap for that. So then a few hours are gone out of my daily schedule. And then she wants to play time, but basically I am her slave, and that's how it's going to be for the next, I don't know, 16, 20 years. So good luck to me. In terms of work, I guess like lots of people have been doing like vlogs throughout this lockdown period and been churning out a lot of content, and I think great if you feel compelled to do that, and if it's helping you through this and you're enjoying it, that's awesome. But I think for me it's been important just to wake up every day and see how I feel, see what comes at me from outside influences, you know, see how the day pans out and not put any pressure on myself to deliver content when essentially I don't have to that much at the moment. Vlogs for me, I don't think would be very interesting for you guys. It would just be me walking around the flat, stroking the cat a few times, having a few IBS attacks probably. You'd hear Sai in the background every single clip. I just don't think it'd be that fun for you. So I'm just going with doing these long chatty catch-ups just when I find an opportunity and when I feel compelled to. But it's funny, isn't it, like seeing how different people's working behaviour changes through things like this. Like some people see it as a real opportunity to capitalise on the fact that more people are online or needing, you know, escapism, and some people are really seeing the opportunity and making the most of that and trying to I don't know, enhance their career during this time. And other people are seeing it as, you know, wow, what an opportunity to slow down, what an opportunity to take some time, which is not something we're afforded many times in our lives. So they're trying to reduce the pace a bit and look after themselves and, you know, seek comfort in other things other than work. And then other people are using it as a time to, like I said, reflect and rethink what they want to do with their lives and whether they're happy doing what they have been doing. I think a lot of people are going to decide to ditch their former careers and either retrain or go back to something they used to do, or diversify what they do, or make sure they just get a better balance perhaps. And I think that's going to be really positive for a lot of people. As I said in the other catch-up, I was meant to be retraining for a new job essentially. It was meant to be on April the 29th, it was meant to start, and that's been put on hold. The tutor confirmed that they can't do it remotely, which is a real shame, so that's been put on hold. So I'm still carrying on with like bloggy things for the time being. So that's a bit of a shame because I'd mentally geared up for doing that, but it's all good. It will happen, you know, when it can happen, I guess. I thought it might be a really slow period for work, and I'm getting a lot of opportunities, gifting opportunities, I guess, because a lot of brands are realizing that they want to be careful with money, but they can still get promo via, you know, some stock or samples they might have. So I'm finding that's been quite busy, the gifting side of things, and a bit of money here and there, but perhaps not as busy as it might have been if, say, festival season was happening. I lost one of my biggest jobs of the year because festival season isn't happening anymore, which is a shame. But again, I haven't found myself dwelling on these things at all, and I've kind of been more resilient than ever about them. It's like, okay, that's happened, fine, it's the way it is. I think when you know it's out of your control, and it's also not because of anything you've done, I don't know, I found it easier to accept, I guess, and not feel as gutted about it, I guess. But I've been doing the odd bit of DIY decor stuff. I did a little kind of upcycle improvement thing on my bathroom cabinet. I'll put a video in here if you can see that. What else have I been doing? I'm sure I've been doing other stuff. I felt relatively busy at times, but it's gone out of my head. I've done, in terms of, you know, entertainment during this time, we've been watching a lot of things on Netflix. I'm trying to think what we've seen, and Amazon. Still powering through The Walking Dead. I think we're on season 6 or 7 now. I'm not sure if it's any good actually, but it's one of those ones that you do get hooked in and you kind of want to keep watching, and it's easy just to put on. We tend to watch one on size lunch break every day, so we are getting through them. We're watching The Last Dance, which is about the NBA in the 90s, all about Michael Jordan and Pippen and a bit of Magic Johnson, Dennis Rodman. So that's been interesting. Normal People on iPlayer, I watched that. I haven't actually read the book. I know everyone raves about the book, but I've only watched the series and I loved the series. I think if you had a first love or a young love that perhaps, I think I used the word squandered or wasted, or I don't know. One of my early loves, I guess, was one that ended prematurely because the guy wasn't yet comfortable with emotions and feelings, and he'd had things happen in his childhood that impacted how he coped with feelings of love and stuff. So he had, I guess, a freak out and ended what was a pretty amazing relationship. And I guess although you get over these things, it's still sad when you think there wasn't closure, or you didn't it didn't fulfill its possibilities, I guess. So that show was it resonated with me, and I think it will resonate with a lot of people that had you know, young love that was thwarted and full of ups and downs and tricky situations. And yeah, it was just beautifully acted, and it was shot really beautifully as well. And apparently, like, the actors really captured the, you know, when you read a book you have this picture in your head, and apparently it was pretty bang on for people that have read the book, which is amazing. So really enjoyed that. Watched Never Have I Ever on Netflix, which is probably aimed at people younger than me, but I actually really enjoyed it. I think we all still feel like, you know, scared, naive teenagers in our heads anyway, don't we? So I really enjoyed that, and weirdly it's narrated by John McEnroe, which is a bit random, but it works. Completely gone. I watched that Making the Cut, which is another fashion show. I know Netflix did one with Alexa Chung and Tan France. Well, this is I guess similar to Project Runway. It's got Heidi Klum, so went through that pretty quickly as well. Too Hot to Handle. I hate to admit it, but I did watch it. I didn't think it was that good actually, but in terms of just having something trashy and easy to watch, you know, delivered. We did have a stressful weekend actually, because was someone very close to us. I'm not going to go into who it is. It's not my place to say, but was rushed to hospital on the weekend. So we've been anxiously waiting for phone calls and stuff the last few days and getting updates. And it's just very hard when you want to help and you can't, and when you know someone's on their own, you just want to be there for them. So that's very hard. And I actually just got a text just before filming this that someone within our family has died in a care home from COVID, which is very sad. She was very old and hasn't been well for a while, but it's still weird, isn't it? Because till it happens to people you know, it's still something you just see in the news. So there is that kind of distance to it. But when someone you know personally or is a bit closer to your circle, it makes it feel a bit more real that this is, you know, happening and it could happen to you. So it's all a reality check. How have you guys found you've been sleeping? I only ask because I feel like a lot of people on my Twitter feed particularly struggled yesterday, which was Monday. And I know a lot of people have been having very vivid dreams. I don't know whether that's because we're consuming quite awful things every day in the news and via social media and stuff like that, or whether it's something to do with us being enclosed in our space, and maybe our brain is more inclined to be really imaginative and vivid because of that. I don't know. I don't know enough about the brain and dreams to know why that might be, but just wondering if you've had vivid dreams. I've had really cinematic ones. I've had some that are really nice that I didn't really want to wake up from, and then I've had really like horrendous ones as well. I'm more prone to the horrendous ones, so I'm always pleasantly surprised when it's one of the more lovely ones, shall we say. I was invited to be interviewed on a podcast the other day, which was nice. So we did that over Zoom. So I had to record my own vocals and stuff. Vocals, I wasn't singing, don't worry. My own, let's just call it vocals because that's what it is, my voice, and then send it over to them. And we did it over Zoom and stuff. So there are ways around of doing things remotely. So we did that. And the lovely girl, if you're watching, I don't know if you are, Kimmy, who spoke to me for our podcast, was really, she's just a natural at it. She's just one of these people that needs to be on Radio 1. She's really good. So she was very good at asking me, prompting me and just getting me to talk about certain things. But because I think I'm not talking to people perhaps as often at the moment, I think I was a bit of a motor mouth and just wouldn't shut up. Which I guess was always the danger. And sometimes when I'm really passionate about something, I talk over people. So I'm sorry if I did do that. Highly likely I did. And then I did that thing afterwards. I was like, oh, I think that went okay. And then as the hours went on, I started thinking about what I did say. And then I realised I wish I hadn't said that. I wish I'd said that better. Why did I say that? I don't even think that. Sometimes when I'm nervous, things come out of my mouth that I don't even think or that I don't even agree with. And then if they're written in print or, you know, recorded, you're like, oh God, people are actually going to think I think that. They're going to think I'm a right twat. So I'm just hoping the edit's going to be kind. But it's good to get, you know, warm myself up for these sort of things because I would like to do more. I used to love doing radio. I did a few slots on Alex Baker's show on Kerrang Radio, and I did a few on Hoxton Radio as well, and Total Rock actually. And I used to really enjoy the medium of radio, but I've not done a podcast or been on a podcast before, so that was fun. And I got a DM today about another one, so be cool to do more things like that. It's good for my confidence to just get more comfortable with doing things like that, I think. Let's talk about exercise. So I took some pictures for a beauty post that I've got to do with a brand soon, and it was a side angle, and I don't want to be one of those annoying people, because I know I'm still, I guess, fairly slim, but my stomach is quite extended at the moment. It's quite it's quite rounded, shall we say. And I've noticed that I have put on a relative amount of weight during lockdown. And weirdly, I'm totally fine with it, which I think is a good place to be mentally, that I am fine with it. I probably should try and get healthier. But we're just eating very well actually at the moment. We're having really nice quality dinners together. And stacking's what happens when you're at home a lot of the time, and if you're a little bit bored, so that's happening a lot. My friend Kelly has recently trained to be a PT and yoga instructor, so I've been, not many times, I must admit, sorry Kelly, I have tried to do this bespoke routine that she made for me that has been adapted to take into account my EDS and things that happen to me and things I can't do, like my weird arms that won't go flat on the floor, the hip that pops out, the fact I can't cross my legs for too long, those sorts of things. So she's created this really cool, gentle regime for me to do when I feel like I'm up for it. So that's really cool. And Kelly actually, before lockdown, Kelly came round because she asked me to take some pictures for her social media to launch this new venture for her. So that was really nice that we got to spend a really good day together before all this happened, because it was literally just before we weren't able to see friends again. So really glad we did that. And then me and Si have gone for the odd walk, you know, the daily walk allowance, but we had a gap of maybe 3 days where we didn't, just because we were tired or just didn't fancy it. But I think we're going to try and do one tonight. How do you guys feel about your body right now, and how comfortable do you feel in your skin, and just in general, how are you feeling about that side of things? I just out of interest really, whether, you know, the fact that you're not seeing people all the time, has that made you feel more at ease about things and less stressed? Has, you know, lockdown made you exercise more, or has it made you exercise less? Do you feel motivated, demotivated? I'm finding like if I have a breakout on my face, I don't stress about it at all, because I'm like, no one has to see it. I just don't go on Insta stories if I don't want to show it. But I am going on it because I guess I put less emphasis on looks as well because of what's going on in the world. So it's weird. It's a very complex thing. I'm really enjoying actually using this time to look after my skin a bit more. Like, I'm using some products that I've been scared to use in the past because I thought, what if I have a bad reaction? What if it's a bit too strong and I'm a bit red raw afterwards? But now I'm going through all these products that I've been sent over the years that I've never had the chance to try, and I'm finding some amazing things. I'm going to do a skincare video actually to show you the ones that I've really enjoyed. Do you think your perspective on what's important has changed during this time? Do you feel like there's too much pressure to have different priorities and have a different perspective because of all this? Because perhaps some of you are like, actually, I don't want much to change. I'm fine with how I was and how I used to think and what I used to do. Maybe that could be an interesting video idea for us to discuss, just changing perspectives and moving forward after all this. Sorry, this has been all over the place. Welcome to my brain. Just wanted to offload probably on you more than anything. Let me know if there's anything you want me to discuss in maybe another honest vlog. I haven't done one of those in ages. Or perhaps we can just do another one of these, but led by some topics of conversation you want to talk about. But I hope you're doing okay. And like I keep saying, don't worry if you're not doing okay, and don't worry if you are doing okay. Neither are bad or good. You just got to do what feels natural to you and listen to how you're naturally, you know, reacting to what's going on, and just go from there and do whatever you need to either make yourself feel better or, you know, help others that need it, or whatever it is. Take care, and I mean that. I'm not just saying it. Really take care of yourselves. Go gently. Do whatever you need to do to feel okay. Be kind to each other, and I will see you in another video soon. I can't believe the cat hasn't bothered us during this. It's a miracle. I bet she's sunbathing. I bet you.